Hey Saf,
Hi.
what are you doing?
I'm getting ready to shoot the first episode of Roundtable with the Junction. And you know what? We had 16 to 18 good plays this year. Different genre, style, and stories which were worth watching. And you know who played the most vital role? The directors. We are shooting the Directors Roundtable with me.
Saf, who are the directors?
Oh, the directors are Gautam Goenka, who directed two plays, Behanding in Spokane, which was a dark comedy, and Tigers Be Still, which was a coming-of-age comedy based on depression. Next we have Meghna Mundkur, who directed Dinner with Friends, which was a dramedy about four friends navigating their marriage and friendship their own way. Next we have Mahua Chauhan, who directed Yaar Julahe, which was a dance theatrical play on Kabir's story from his young age till death. Next we have Shankar Ramachandran, who directed Ghosts, where we saw how blind we become when past lashes violently to claim its presence. Next we have Hitesh Rajani, who directed and choreographed Yatra, which was a dance theatrical based on real life stories, gender inequality, and society issues. Last but not the least, we have Dhruti Shah, who directed Rafu, which was a story that honors place of scars, discarded people who are never understood, lives of people which are interwoven, a revolution against indifference.
So Saf, when are we shooting the first episode?
Dude, just give me some time, okay? I'll see you in some time on the other side with the directors on the table. Now see you, bye! Alright, so thank you so much everyone for joining us in this Directors Roundtable panel. But there's one thing that I would always like to ask a director once they have presented a successful play. What is that one memorable moment that you remember while making this play that you all presented on the stage? I would like to begin with Meghna.
I think for Dinner with Friends, it was particularly the music that I picked for the play. Because it was something that I wanted to experiment with on stage. I wanted a movie-like experience to be brought on stage as well. And for that, your soundtrack in a movie really establishes the mood, right?
Yeah.
So if it's a suspenseful scene, you take the suspenseful music out of it and you leave just the performance on stage. It doesn't have the kind of impact that the music along with the performance has as well. So I think for Dinner with Friends, for me, I think I took about 4 weeks figuring out 8 tracks that I used for the play. So I think that was the most memorable part for me for Dinner with Friends, was choosing the soundtrack for a play.
Right, amazing. Mamaji, where she was just talking about music, and we know that your play was more of music as well. I mean, what was memorable about your play?
In Yaar Julahe, although there are many scenes, and for directors every scene is memorable, but then yes, very close to my heart is one scene where the Bhikari has been killed. Now, I never wanted to show the dead body on stage, so we used it in a very different way. We used a Tara of Bhikari and few cloth. It was all messed with blood, and we used that.
Right.
And then there were many people crying. They were not crying for Bhikari. They were crying because every day everybody is getting killed, and we are not left with any emotions for that killing anymore. It's still. So that particular scene, usage of light, usage of property, actors, and I remember when the first day when I asked everybody to cover their faces completely, it was like they appeared as mummies,
Right.
and they all were like this. They all said why. This why was so good because it gave me that
Beautiful visual presentation of it.
Yes, and of course music is part of my plays. It's like it's all music, and my music director is we have a wonderful tuning.
Right.
So whatever I want, he creates amazingly. So
Right,
that was
right.
that particular the whole, because that's the turning point of the whole drama also.
Right.
So that particular scene is really very, very close to my heart and very memorable.
Amazing. What about you, Gautam?
I think for me, for this season, one of the most memorable moments was working with a young 17-year-old actor. I had not worked with somebody at that age, although I started my journey at that age with Shankar sir. I had not worked with somebody that age, and just the raw energy that somebody like Kushal brought onto the stage, I think was amazing. You know, attending rehearsals was a really beautiful moment. You know, getting that raw energy from a 17-year-old
Right.
and channelizing it in the right area. I think
Being a
that-
part of the millennial and
well, I don't think he's millennial. I think he's a little younger than that. Even. But yeah, absolutely, it was fantastic. That was a great moment.
right. Shankar sir, I'd like to understand this from you. As a director, how do you keep yourself motivated to present a new story every time?
Well, it better be a new story every time.
I mean,
We are in the
for a
creative
fact-
process.
Yeah.
What motivates me is the medium.
Right.
Okay, and the message comes to me from the unconscious.
Right.
Okay, like I'll give you an example. Right now, for the last about 15 days, I've started research on a play which I thought I will do much later. Okay, and I can tell you what it is. It's called An Enemy of the People by Henry Gibson.
Right.
And why did it come to me? Because of the situation we are going through right now
Correct.
in terms of the coronavirus.
Right.
Okay, and therefore to me the story, how do I motivate myself? I am motivated by the incidents around me. I am a sensitive person. And what happens to me is incidents around me motivate me to go into the repertoire of literature and say, is there something which represents this in a most beautiful manner through the medium that I appreciate, which is the theatre.
Correct.
And that is how it's a very organic stream of consciousness side of a thing. It's not something like you sit down and say, today I will decide what to do next. It doesn't happen like that, for me at least.
Right.
And what a relevant play, right, for these times.
So,
as
yeah,
you said.
exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
And it came from, I read it probably 6-7 years ago.
Correct.
But I got up one morning and I was telling Suman, my wife, that this play needs to be done because it's so parallel to what we are seeing.
Absolutely.
And every play of mine has been like that.
Right. Jyoti, what about you?
I think I'd go with Shankar sir's answer as well. Same on the parallel. It comes from a space of consciousness.
Right.
There are times in our life where we feel a sense of, how do I say this, like a listlessness, an ennui, like a sense of nothing is moving, right? And then you go about seeking for something so that a movement can be made. In my case, it's not that I was seeking for something, it was the unconscious that was unfolding itself. And the moment it's about listening attentively to the unconscious.
Right.
Which is why I like the idea of what Shankar sir says here is the stream of consciousness is so vast that the moment something appears, you perceive it.
Right.
So you chase after it, and then it unfolds and it develops on its own, and it gives you the story if you listen attentively,
Correct.
if you pay attention.
Right.
So that's pretty much it.
Coming from that idea, I think since Hitesh has been doing musical theatre through the expression of dance, I think you follow a similar pattern where you see what's happening in your surrounding, what's happening around, and you present that on the stage. I mean, this type of theatre, what's the response that you get?
Oh, well, the response has been great and not great at the same time. It's because it was never supposed to be that responsive, to be honest. It was supposed to just go out there and do it. What I've always understood is just put your head down and keep working. What happens if I feel if the response is coming great, work for it. If it's not, it's okay. My point was to always just go into it, put your head down, not see where it's going, not even see where the goal is, not really plan. Just do it.
So just that raw energy.
Yeah, for me, it's like I'm doing this for myself at the end of the day. And as much as I can give, I'm hoping people take it. If they don't, they don't. It's not always the response. It does suddenly become a part where I think everybody starts like that. And then after some time you go like, the response isn't great, but we never started with that.
Correct.
Then I think we always forget that, yaar, tickets they need. And I'm like, मैंने उसके लिए तो शुरू ही नहीं किया था.
Right.
So that when the response does not come actually motivates me कि वो तो ना वापस याद आ जाता है where we started from.
Correct.
Right.
So if this comes in, it's great.
Absolutely, I agree. I think we have different forms of theatre, not only languages, but different forms of theatre, which is nowadays appreciated by audience. And we have seen this in 2019-2020 season, where we not only had English plays, but non-English plays as well, which was successful. Now I have this one question where I have to ask this to everyone. One quality that a director should have. What about you, Meek?
Adapting to change. I haven't been directing as long as any of you. I think I'm the youngest in terms of because I started directing only 3 years ago. But what I learned from my coaches in Bombay, in Delhi, and in Bangalore, and all of that was don't stick to a list of rules that you have put yourself or put for yourself as a director. Learn how to adapt with each production. Learn how to adapt with the times. Learn how to adapt with the script. Learn how to adapt with actors. And that's something that I experienced as well. In the few plays that I have directed, each play I was different.
Right.
In terms of how I interacted with my actors, in terms of how I thought about the production, in terms of how I thought about the story. Like with Dinner with Friends, it was such a parallel to my life because I had just finished my divorce. So I was just coming out of that as well. So there were so many times in rehearsal where I had to not make it that personal because it's not my story on stage. It's still text, right? It's still text. It's still other actors. So so there were times where I direct my actors going, no, that's not how you say it. And then in my head I'm going, yeah, but that's how I would say it. But this is not my story. Wait. So I had to shake myself out of that as well. So I think, for me personally, one quality would be to not have just one quality.
Well said. Very well said. What about you, Hitesh?
What I would like to add on this point is basically.
Sorry, be louder.
Sorry.
Full feel में आ गया. We're in a theatre, so yeah.
So basically, as a choreographer, I always think a choreographer is a person who does not teach what the choreographer has to the students.
Right.
It's how I can shine that student with his own traits, with his own quality. So as a director, I feel if I'm not telling him what to do from my side, exactly what she was trying to say, but मैं उसको कैसे निखार सकता हूँ? उसकी क्वालिटी क्या है? अगर मैं स्प्लिट कर सकता हूँ, उसको स्प्लिट करना ज़रूरी नहीं है. उसमें एक ऐसी क्वालिटी है जो स्प्लिट नहीं है.
Right.
वो आइडेंटिफाई करना, वो अपने क्राफ्ट का जो एक टाइमलाइन रहता है उसकी चीज़ दैट पर्टिकुलर क्वालिटी को शाइन आउट करके ये लाइन में डालना इज़ व्हाट आई थिंक रादर देन टेलिंग देम व्हाट टू डू एंड मेरे में ये अच्छी चीज़ है दिस इज़ व्हाट आई कैन टीच यू रादर देन अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट पर्टिकुलर कैरेक्टर एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग हाउ दैट कैन बी अ पार्ट ऑफ द टाइमलाइन इज़ व्हाट आई थिंक शुड बी.
Mamaji, what about you?
When you start, when you come on the floor, the first day, you should be something like completely empty. Nothing of yours, nothing. I always say, I never choose the stories. It's the words, they choose me. If you come with this humble attitude that I am grateful to these words, to this drama, who has chosen me, then you'll be able to do something. Otherwise, you come with lot of baggage. The first thing I've always seen directors say, I chose this story. This doesn't happen.
No.
This doesn't happen.
Shankar sir, what about you? What's the quality?
If you listen to all of this, see, there are a couple of things for me.
Right.
This word ego comes again and again. Ego essentially is limited identity. And a director, any creative person, just can't be creative if his identity is limited.
Right.
Right. So ego is at the end of the day what? An ego means I am identifying myself with something which I am not willing to let go. That person cannot be creative. The second thing is, with all this that you have heard, and I've seen all of this, in 38 years, you see, we did a play where we took it to 75 different cities in India.
Wow.
The same play. Okay. And with a cast of 85. Cast of 85, including the crowd and the music and the like. And n number of mistakes will happen.
Correct. Right.
So this question of being able to be present so that you can do with what you have
Right.
without sacrificing the spine of the play is very, very important.
Absolutely.
And the last thing as a creative person is, you go through this mental picture, the kinesthetic aspects of it, the visual aspects of it and everything, and then the final product comes. Sometimes you have to learn to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay. And then you recharge and say, there's always another play which I'll do.
Start again.
Start again.
Of course.
So the ability to forgive yourself is very important for a creative person to remain alive.
Now, moving on to my next question, which is to Dhrutiya. What do you prefer? Because we have seen you normally go for stories which are written by you or your team, which is an original story from whatever angle that you have looked at to write that story. But what do you prefer?
There is no preference.
Would you go for a author-written story as well?
By author-written story, I mean you mean a play that's already
Play
been
which is
done.
already- yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who else would write?
Alright.
Who else would write? That's what I was also doing. Who else would write?
So I think it is not. It's not about the preference.
Okay.
It is about what sings to me.
Yeah.
रस feel होना चाहिए. I should feel the aesthetics of a story beforehand. If I want to do an adaptation, I want to do it because I want to translate the energy of what the playwright has written, or an author in that case has written. Let's say if you want to do an adaptation through a novella, it is about. It's not a preference. Of course, I do like to do. It is my passion to do original stories purely because of the creative urge that I have.
Yeah.
I like crafting. I love the word crafting in theatre more than anything else, which is why I create my music from scratch. I write from scratch.
Right.
I rehash the scripts n number of times. But the idea is the joy, the rasa, the aesthetics that you feel while you are creating something is unparalleled. Because a written reckoner given to you is beautiful. It will open your mind to imagination. But that joy which an original piece gives you, it's very distinct. You cannot prefer. But let's say, for instance, a story arrived in your hand and you read it, and your inner imagination has somehow expanded the story. You see it on stage, you want to do it, or you listen to a piece of music and it just makes you move, and you see it on stage and you are like, let me do this, let me see if I can move the story somehow or adapt it in my way.
Right.
So on and so forth. I feel it is it is left to if it arrives on my doorstep, then I trust it. It has potency. There is something potent about it. I want to tell the story. I had done I'm referring to a performance I had done in Bangalore. It was on Kannagi.
Right.
Kannagi is a mythical character who, from a demure woman, practically burns Mysore down. She becomes a deity. Now that was the story given to me. Yeah, that this is the project. Can you do an adaptation on it? I completely reversed. I stuck to the emotions of the character, whatever she goes through, because emotions are common
Right.
amongst all of us, right? The undercurrent of the emotions, which we don't, for instance, when there is anger, but we don't speak, we restrain the anger, but there is anger. Now, can I use my silence, the suppressed anger, can I say a story from there?
Yeah.
Right.
Without not saying, and then when I say something, it becomes the final word. I burn my soul down after that. So the adaptation was so powerful. I felt like Kannagi, like I think somebody spoke about the Atma, the soul entering Mahuaji. The Kannagi soul entered my body, and it's almost as if she took over me.
Right.
Yes, not to a point of obsession, but she is guiding me now. I really felt what it means to be abandoned, to live in complete exile. Now here is a story that she's it's been told in one, if you follow mythology, she actually plucks her breast and she throws it, and that's where the fire is. But what is the breast? One must question. I did not use breast as my analogy, not for anything else. I used my heart. Breast is actually nothing else but a powerful symbology of life. But for me, my heart was so heavy that I wanted to take it and show it, and I kept expanding the heart till I could burn everything down. So this was an adaptation, but I presented it in an original way. It came from me. So when I do an original story, it arrives, and I am driven by it. If an adaptation arrives, I will still prefer, if there is a preference, in the context of preference, I will still prefer to render originality to it.
Sure.
My understanding, yet not compromising on the spine. If an author has written something, to give it that respect, to honor the vision of
The spine of the play.
the spine of the play, the essence of the play, the
Ethos.
the process of why are these characters like this. I will not compromise on that, but I will not worship it. It will be my adaptation.
Alright, moving on to the next question. We have to choose actors thinking what will be the collection probably for out of the 3 days for one show at least, but based on this actor who can probably get a certain number of people. I mean, in theatre we can think of that, we can think that a particular actor can get these many people, and that affects your collection. So do you choose actors based on the collection because you probably want at least one full house?
Okay, I don't think so. But then I had a very rude awakening when I became producer for Dinner with Friends.
Right.
Because that's when that particular part of my brain had to switch on of finances, of will this face get me audiences, but it was diluting everything for me. Also, I'm using too many I, me sentences, I hate that. But like if somebody had to cast me in a play, because of City 1016 and because I'm a radio presenter, people would come and watch me, but they won't. Because they want to listen to a Bollywood song. They really don't want to come and watch theatre.
Right.
So if you're casting me because you're going to sell more tickets, you're riding the wrong wave.
How difficult is it to direct a play even after not getting the perfect cast, but since you have now casted them, you will have to work with them and compromise? And does it affect your credibility as a director that probably you could have taken better actors as well? I mean, this does happen. We have faced this scenario, right?
So I think there's a couple of context settings that we have to do based on both your last question and this question.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the context, what the audience needs to understand is theatre in Dubai, much like theatre in any city, is very different from somewhere else in the world. Unfortunately, here in Dubai, we suffer from this disease where we think that theatre from India, theatre from UK, theatre from the US, theatre from somebody else is applicable here. No, Dubai has its own soul.
Yeah.
It has its own approach. It has its own thing. And being a city that is made up of different cultures, it is a mix of all other cultures.
Correct.
It also has its own challenges, which every city does have its own challenges with theatre. Dubai has some unique challenges. And the reason why I see you're bringing cost up a few times is because cost is a challenge here. This is probably one of the, having done theatre in 3 or 4 different countries, Dubai is the most expensive place in the world to do community theatre.
Yeah. We can't hide away from that.
Let's just be blunt. So that's the context that we need to set. So that then gives context to the questions that you've been asking on this. Now, when you say compromise, one of the beautiful things that has happened over the last 7-8 years has been the amount of theatre that's happening in Dubai. We're really at that takeoff stage, or just taken off stage, where, Shankar sir, if you remember back in 2002, we were doing 2 plays a year.
And only we were doing
plays.
it. And only we were doing it.
And only we were doing it, or maximum you had the Dubai Drama Group,
Correct.
2 plays somewhere else, 1 play somewhere else, and we were very proud of it. 4 full-length plays happened this year. And this season, you've already said that 16 to 18 plays happened. This is outside of other forms of dance, comedy, other things that are happening. And let's be honest, the acting pool is limited. So when you say you didn't get your favorite cast, it's not because of choosing. Actors are busy and they pick on a project, and then you go and you say, hey, will you act in my project? And they're like, we signed on to 3 other projects or 2 other projects. And so now you've had to, because you got a slot, the Junctions told you, you are doing this on 26th October and that's it. You don't take that. The next slot is June 2025. You are going, what do I do?
Very well.
So
the context which
the context
governs,
matters.
Matters a lot.
So then in that context, if you ended up compromising on actors, which I don't think you should, but let's say you have, and God knows I have in a couple of cases I have, then listen, you deal with it. You become flexible. You go down and you say, listen, I work with what I've got.
And that as a director, there your responsibility is to
I mean, look, I won't work with somebody that I don't have any feeling towards. I think that's wrong to say. But yes, you do have my option 1, 2, 3, 4.
Correct.
During casting, I always have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I didn't get number 1, I didn't get number 2, maybe I have to work with number 3. But then I should be willing to work with them. There have been plays that I have walked away from completely because I couldn't cast them. Inherit the Wind comes to mind. I mean, last season I was supposed to direct Inherit the Wind.
Right.
I got half my cast and I could not get the other half. I had to walk away from that play.
And it goes back to what I'm saying, vision. You've got to have it. So you've got, if you are not going to hold auditions, let's say, and you're going to approach actors, especially in Dubai, you've got to have a backup list of at least 8.
Yeah.
You'll be lucky if you have a list of 8, but you've got to have a list because, and that comes as part of your vision when you're approaching the actors. So then 1 says no, 2 says no, 3 says no, 4. So you already have.
And you gotta be smart enough, to Shankar's point, you gotta be smart enough to admit when you're wrong and walk away. I think you said that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Admit when you're wrong and say, okay, listen,
I can't do it.
I bit off more than I could chew. I now need to walk away from this project. I have walked away. The most recent example is Inherit the Wind, but I walked away from projects going, I can't cast this.
I have a very unique angle to this, and it might be very personal, and I may come across as being arrogant. But the truth is, when I cast in community theatre that we do, I look more for commitment than talent. Because for me, if the person is committed, I'm a bit arrogant saying, but I have done this. I mean, and you can ask the actors who have worked in my plays. Many of them are first timers who have done major roles. And I only ask them one question when I'm casting. And of course, judge it through their body language and everything. How committed are you to this production? I will make sure that your best will come out.
So then
Whatever your best
Add
is.
to that is
Whatever your best.
Yeah, whatever your best is. Everybody can say, I can do better than the second. Of course you can do better than this. Thank God, that's why we are human and there's human potential. But if you're committed, I will burn the midnight oil and people will vouch for it.
Yeah.
That I will work with you till your personal best comes out.
I'm sure it's true in dance as well.
Yeah, I was actually like my approach to this particular thing is like when you actually have somebody. For me, what I like as I started the whole conversation, where the best that you can take out from that particular person.
Yeah.
And me as a person, I love raw. I don't like technique. I don't like 100%. The idea of getting a 25% in this particular person and even getting 45 out of it is my win.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, till when will you see amazing technique? Till when will you see beautiful lines? You'll just keep seeing this. When will you see something which is not right?
And which is flowering in front of
Inherently
you.
flawed.
I have actually started doing these videos during this lockdown where I'm like, I'm not gonna work on technique. I'm not gonna wear the right clothes. I'm not gonna wear a right costume because everybody is doing that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do things which are wrong so that people cannot comment bad.
right.
Because if they say it's bad, I'm trying to be bad because I don't want to have correct
I'd
line.
like to add to the previous thing where everybody was talking about choosing the actors and auditioning the actors and all that. Why we want, as director, why we want to limit ourselves by choosing the best? Let's have the most worst ones.
But committed.
Worst ones. Yes, but committed. And then we'll work with them. Fine.
Right. My next question to everyone here, because we have watched. I mean, I have been privileged to watch 16 to 18 shows throughout the year. I've almost watched all of them. But out of all the shows that you all have watched, your favorite director, play, actor, actress that you all honestly want this season.
Can you cancel this question?
I mean, it's not going to be controversial, but if whatever shows you have watched, your favorite director, actor, actress, you can just say, or the play, that you liked.
Oh man.
Starting with you, Meghna.
Oh my god.
No pressure, Meghna.
Oh, the ones we have seen in
Yeah,
Dubai.
but-
In
No,
this
no,
season,
this season.
we're particularly talking about this season 2019, 2020.
In general.
Okay, so I mean, I'll be the first to admit I have not watched all 16, 18
Okay.
I don't think
because
it's
I
good for
couldn't
Yeah.
make it. I've watched Ghost, I've watched Tigers Be Still, and I've watched Yatra. I am so sorry. I could not make it. I know I wanted to make it, but I'm on air at the same. Oh God.
I think all of us will have to say that, so let's not.
But I think for me, favorite director would have, all due respect, Shankar, or favorite director would have to be Gotham for Tigers Be Still. Only because mental health's a really close subject for me, so I related to it really well. And I think the fact that he had that 17-year-old raw talent, and to see what Gotham did with raw talent, and he matched all of you on stage with Tigers Be Still, second by second. Like you couldn't fault that 17-year-old for not having enough theatre experience. And I think that is a great testament to a director. So I think that absolutely. In terms of my favorite moment for Yatra, you had this one piece of the inner child. That boy was how old? The younger one?
Darsh, 12.
12.
He's very
So Darsh was 12 and the older
Paresh is 25.
So there was a piece in Yatra where it was an adult and his inner child, and the entire sequence was around that, and how the adult kills the inner child at the end, which is like shoots this 12-year-old boy on stage. I'm almost tearing up again. I bawled like a baby. I didn't know what triggered it. I didn't know how it happened, and I remember sending you a message as well. I think that was one of the most moving theatre art performance pieces that I have seen, because I wasn't prepared for it. And the minute the piece started, my hands started shaking. And I was like, what is going on? It's that moment in theatre where everything else blacks out and you zero in on just this flame on stage. And I mean, I had goosebumps about that particular piece for months, and I still do. I think in this season, that one particular piece has got to be my favorite.
Himesh, what about you?
I'm going to be the same. I've actually not watched a lot of plays.
Whatever you've watched.
So the thing is, in me, I'm a very laid back director. I do things very late, and I purposely do it late because I wait for it to come to me. And the other thing is, like, my team also doesn't like the whole idea because I want to do things fast because I'm late. So this is only one. So I've worked with Jimish, and he's the kind of person that I think.
Who's very prepared.
For him, he's like, ho jayega. Like, it'll be done. But how? When? And then I see myself in it. This is what I do to my cast. So where? Am I supposed to choose from here?
No.
From the season. From the season.
And if you haven't watched it, that's okay. Edit it out. We'll edit you out.
Yeah. If you haven't watched it,
I watched Yaj Lahe, I've watched Rafu. These are the two plays which I watched. And for me, as I was saying earlier, that I like to tell my audience the exact story. I want them to understand. There are people who would like to keep it vague. And my partner Shruti, who I run Avega with, she loves to keep things vague. Now I've started consciously watching plays which are vague, because I want to understand what is so good. I mean, how can someone like vague in me? This is personal opinion. Yeah. If I'm not understanding the story directly, how are people liking this? Like in my head, this is a funny thing I say, you create a painting and you call it contemporary. But what is it? And maybe this is my problem. So I want to get into this particular idea of understanding this vagueness and how are people liking it. And I am kind of trying to fit in. So for me, Rafu and Yash was a little vague for me, but I'm trying to figure out, I want to crack it. And there are people who think that they love it.
Absolutely.
And so if I come and say that I didn't like the play, it's not because I didn't like the play. The problem is in me. I want to understand this. What is this? Because people next to me are giving standing ovations. And I'm like, did I miss out on something?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
for me, I've always been a very direct, like, yes, this is the story, this is the character, this is everybody should get it. But you know when things, even words, like when people speak, they use like amazing words, and I'm like, dude, what does that mean? If there is apology, why the word sorry is created? In my head, I'm a very straight, understanding person, and when anything vague that happens, like she used the word mystical bird. For me, she was a bird. Why mystical came? So for me, I'm genuinely trying to put myself out there to understand this vagueness. So for me, I watched these two plays. For me, Rafu was a particular play which, like, you know, have you ever seen a color, purple, blue and green mixed color? You know what is it called? You don't know what it is. It's something, right? So for me, Rafu was something, I saw something which I've not seen before.
And that's
But
what.
again, for me, it was vague. So I'm like,
Should I like it? Should I
yeah,
not like it?
you know what I mean?
You like
It's a
it. I
battle.
think you liked it.
I don't know. That's the thing. Even
It's an achievement for a director itself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rafu, I was giving an interview and I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what I feel. I really want to understand this particular person inside me.
Right.
What is that?
Okay.
Tough question and good season. As with everybody else, I've missed a few plays.
If you had to choose one.
But no, hands down, I know which play I enjoyed the most this season. That was Dinner with Friends. Hands down, and I think I've said that to Meghna a few times. I thought it was probably one of the most powerful pieces of theatre that I've seen on the stage. No offense to anybody else, it was just... And in that also, when you say actor, I thought Priyanka Jory did a fab job. I mean, I've worked with her for years. I didn't know she's capable of this depth of acting. Her eyes spoke. She's very expressive with her eyes in any case, but her eyes spoke. So hands down, to me, Dinner with Friends was just top-notch theatre, right? What we should be aspiring to in this city. As I'm sure there are many others as well. In terms of other performances, there were quite a few good performances this season. I mean,
Any actor, actress that
yeah,
you
I mean,
like
look,
to-
I thought in small roles, people did great jobs. So I think if you think of Svetlana Mishra doing Chidiki Dukki, she was very good.
Natya
In
Sanya.
that. Yeah, she was really good in what she did. It was a small piece. But again, you just went, wow, she's fantastic. Apurva Mehra had a great season. She did again that same evening of short play. She had a fantastic thing, and then in Chuhal she had a
Chuhal,
great
Natya Sandhya.
So-
actually, Chuhal is actually.
yeah. So yeah, the great acting over there as well. We saw in actors, we saw quite a few good ones come up. I think Ziad did Ghosts, and that was a fantastic piece of acting. We also saw you, Chuhal. We saw Salim, is his name?
Salim and Chuhal.
Salim and Chuhal. He played the same role that you did in Another Night. I thought he was great. Karan Sharma has been coming up. Amit Ghosh has been a discovery.
Sweet was like, whoa!
Who is this man? Where did he come from? Lydia Medinos. I mean, just the stuff that she's done, I'm in love with. So, yeah, we've seen some great performances this season.
What about you, Dhruti?
I'm so pathetic because I feel so bad now that I hear all this that I haven't seen.
But you have to
Yes,
only choose one.
Yes, but I feel bad that I haven't seen a lot.
Right.
It's unfortunate. And,
Whatever you've seen.
I haven't seen any of Shankarji's play, which is unbelievable.
That's okay.
He's doing one more. If all goes well, he's doing one more.
But I'd like to, I think, thanks to Gautam, he reminded me of Chidiki Dukki. I want to register that. I'll come back to it. I've seen Yaar Julahe, and I do think that this season, I remember I did not get a chance to watch the play, but I watched it during the tech rehearsal. And it was a 70% production. When I sat there, I even remember, this stage has not seen that kind of patterns laid
Right.
out. And I remember sitting there and feeling moved by the museum of art from our Eastern traditions, from the ancient Aboriginal traditions.
Right.
Come to this stage. That was it was a very big deal for me. It was a very big deal to watch Yaar Julahe in that perspective. That something so old, rustic, which takes you back into your
Mattika stage.
And then you give it your touch, you know.
And the synchronicity, the movement, the synchronicity, the energy that was traveling everywhere, it was so beautiful. It was like watching a moving painting. Although it is unfortunate, I saw it from a 70% angle. I still give it 70% because that was not obliterated. That was predominant. And Chidi Ki Bukki, Svetlana, and Red Hot Lovers, the protagonist, the main
Rohit.
Rohit was brilliant. Rohit was brilliant in Red Hot Lovers, and the last lady, I'm sorry, I don't know.
First one was Sarah Potter.
Sarah Potter, Svetlana, and Rohit. Because these are the only plays I've watched. All three of them were fantastic. Of course, I give it to Yarjula. Because I've only watched that much.
No.
It's an unfortunate one. Forgive me.
Right. I can't recall in which year it was and which everything, but when it comes to, I can't talk about a particular play other than I'll come to it. But Rohit definitely comes to me as a outstanding, and he's also worked with me. Okay, so I got to see a range in him, which was extremely interesting.
And he came back after a long time.
After a long time,
He came
because he went to Saudi and then he had to come
He
back.
was just brilliant.
He was
The
back on
stamina
stage
level was-
after years.
And that is what I was looking forward, and I got it because he had worked with me before, and this is the main role he was doing. So that does stay in my mind. And actually, I'm not going to apologize for this, but not the main plays which stand in my mind. Actually, the things which come to my mind are from Short and Sweet.
Yeah.
Actually, the two of them which really I found which affected me at least. I think I'm answering for myself. One was Mandy, where she does a monologue on of that Afghani,
Mandeep Walia did that. Yeah, I forget the play's name, but yes.
And the other one was Tabassum and Yourself. These are the two which has stayed in my mind. So obviously, though I have seen the other plays,
Made a very positive impact.
yeah, they didn't stay in my mind.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's the type of person maybe I am.
Mamaji.
Same. I haven't seen much, but yes, one play, one actor. For me, actor and actresses are never different. So, one actor was in Gautam's play Aditi.
Yeah.
Brilliantly realistic, very brilliantly normal on stage, which is very rare. I say, which is very rare. People do
Realistic.
do work hard to be like that. Very well. They were
It came naturally to her.
too much, and the way she was like, she could portray her complete psychology there. That was amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much everyone for being a part of this panel. It was really informative. I mean, the young directors who want to, step on the stage, it's really informative for them. I mean, it's good for them to know the things that you all have shared, and we will really be expecting a lot more directors to come in this next season. So that was it from us at the Directors Roundtable with The Junction. Stay awaited for the next episode, which is the Actresses Roundtable, which will be interviewed by Aditi.